Welcome to Narrowboat that James built. Hope you're well, thanks for joining me. Well, in 24 hours, my boat will be down there on the canal somewhere. So I've got between now and then to get everything ready. It won't surprise you to learn there's still a little bit more blacking to be done, but I want to do the steps and a bit more work in the deck, and then there's lots of kind of prep to be done in order for before the crane. Got a Saki bugger coming up this afternoon as well, or early this evening. So and the weather's spectacular today, so let's get started. When these steps were originally put in by Paul, I say originally, a few months ago, there were three. There was one there, and one there, and then it was going up to the main step, which is kind of back there. Obviously now with that larger landing zone there, these steps here have to be realigned so that they fit properly. So they're all going to be a height of 280. So that first one's correct. So obviously I've got that at 260, and then I'm going to have the top going on it to bring it up to 280. Then I'm going to put those joists onto there, and then I have to put more joists onto those joists to bring up the height. As you can see, I'm starting to trim this first step. At the moment it's flush up against this side here, and the idea is that this panel here, this whole panel here, can come off so you can access these parts of the engine if you wanted to. But then the thing I'm thinking is that underneath all of this is a really generous amount of storage space. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 2 foot deep. Obviously it's not particularly accessible because of these massive joists in here, but I could trim a bit out of that, and that would be a good place to stow away things like life vests. I could even put a base on it and actually have it as a cupboard, which would basically mean, therefore, that this step here would need to be either removable, or if it was to hinge up, then it would have to be clear of this side panel here. And I can imagine, hopefully, I'd be accessing this storage container more frequently than I would be needing to service this. So it makes sense to have that one underneath this, which basically means then I'm going to have to move all this up so I can fit in a 20mm board there, and therefore to take this panel out I just have to lift that step up, and then it'll pop out. So I just need to realign these now and trim a bit more off that edge there. I've attached the little end bit, that's just screwed into that piece. So this piece here includes that. Now I just need to put a batten across them all. But I don't think I'm going to do that bit just yet, because I don't really know exactly the position of the batten, and I might need to trim off the joists underneath it anyway. So I'm just going to leave it for the minute. And the second one, kind of much the same goes really. So I've got to make an extra bit there. I've got to slide them along 20mm. So again, if I wanted to take this panel out here, I take that step out, take that step out, and that panel will then come away. Saki bugger's made it up here. John and Paul are here, a few others. And we're going to take lazy days out up to the tunnel and back. It's absolutely baking hot today, so we could all do with a bit of cold air. So we're going to go over to the tunnel, which is about half hour, something like that, half hour back, and then I can crack on with that step. silly little thing, but one thing I'd like to do is to paint the gear lever. The grey against the grey I don't like. I think if that was Bethnal green against the grey, that would also probably not work very well. So I'm going to do it in cream, and I think I might do it in cream, that bit there in cream and that bit there in burgundy. Sorry, Manchester red. Yeah, I'll give that a go. After our very enjoyable cruise through the tunnel and back, which I hope you guys enjoyed, Saki Bugger, myself, Paul and John sat down, had a curry, and on the front, and I'm just finishing doing some painting around the stern deck ahead of tomorrow's big day. I want the boat looking as good as it can. Ideally, I want the cream trim to really stand out. Beautiful day it is today. It's Wednesday, the 8th of September. It is crane day number 4. Right, the crane's just arrived. The 100-tonner. Now I've painted that bit in cream, it's starting to me to look a bit like a cricket bat. And it really is, because it's kind of curved. So I'm tempted to do the handle in Manchester red. I mean, I was going to do it Manchester red anyway, and make it really look like a cricket bat. I've also got to have a gear knob on the top of that, and I think what I'm going to do is get a big lump of walnut or something like that, or something maybe a bit cheaper, but basically a hardwood, and whittle it into the shape of a slowberry, so a sphere, and attempt to paint it and then lacquer it or something like that, whack it on the top of that, and have a, you know, that'd be quite ergonomic. The other thing I'd like to have is a guitar headstock, but that is probably the least ergonomic and most uncomfortable gear lever you could probably imagine. Well, a hedgehog would be worse, but that's my plan. Make it look like a cricket bat and then chuck a slowberry on the top. I am just doing a few kind of little things. I don't know why. I got the Bethnal green out. I was doing the collar, so I'm just doing this. This is a bit of a vanity project, really, just to go around the outside of the stern deck and just kind of get rid of this cream line. I still obviously need to do loads of coats of paint around the stern deck, but I just want it to look all right, because obviously the drone's going to be at this kind of height when we're being craned. There goes Steve. And there's a narrowboat coming out of a willow tree. Right, we're just having a bit of a shift around at the moment. This boat's got to move over a bit. There's another boat to come in here, and I think there's another one to squeeze in, so I'm not sure if they're going to move mine and then move it again, because there's a boat somehow going right next to mine. I don't think there's enough space, but we'll see. Against it time wise, so one's just come out, this one's got to come out as well, and then I think it's me going on the trolley. And the wait is over. It is now my turn. crane positions itself directly above the boat and lowers the chains, and the straps go underneath the boat. And after all final checks and balances are done, the slack can be taken up and the boat slowly starts to rise. And it is at this point I mentioned to Mr. Crane Man the promise he made me earlier. Welcome to extreme blacking. And now I've said bye-bye to my base plate Brazilians, it is time for the boat to be lifted. And because the new base plate is basically flat bottomed now instead of the V-shaped hull it used to have, we no longer need chocks to compensate for the V, so it can go onto the trolley as it is. Here she comes, looking quite a lot different to before. Right, how low does she sit?
Made any difference at all?
Well, it would have done. Extra, nearly 2 tons.
Is that what was on there?
Yeah. Well, she's sitting lower, that's for sure.
You wanted it a bit lower?
Yeah, exactly. I needed it lower. At least the swim's completely submerged. I'm just checking out the skin fittings on the starboard side. Ideally you want 10 inches, and I'd say that's more like a foot I've got on that one there, so that's bang on. That's absolutely perfect. But she's definitely sitting lower in the water, and I would say by about 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches, something like that. But it's quite significant, if I'm honest. Well, that went fine. She's floating. Everything seems to be dry. She's got to tie her up for the first time. We'll leave her here for a couple of days on the slip, kind of monitor the water situation, and then if everything's all right, we'll go on to the main cut. I don't know what position I'll be in yet, but somewhere down there, John's earmarked me a spot. But for now, we can enjoy the rest of the sun. It's been a really good day today. There's been a lot of waiting around, to be honest. I was quite prepared, surprisingly. Well, apart from not having any rope attached to the stern of the boat, but so there's kind of not the huge amount to do, which has been nice because loads of people came up to see me today, like Big and Sarky Bugger. Obviously, my dad was here as well. So yeah, it's been, and obviously the weather was just beautiful today, so it's been really kind of nice. Having the boat on the water is so nice. It's such a good feeling. She looks great. It's kind of, I've tried to rub off some of the marks left by the crane, but yeah, she sits really nicely. She's definitely a lot lower. I'd say it's either 2.5, possibly 3 inches lower. So when we take her out for a cruise, we'll see how she handles, because I might be able to lose some ballast either right at the front and preferably kind of in the galley as well, which would just mean the ballast is in the centre of the boat, which is ideally where it should be. But yeah, she's sitting kind of nice and low, so she feels quite steady. There's bags of room above the skin fitting, so I've got no worries there at all. So I can now go about putting my gas locker skin fitting in, because I know the height of that one where it can be. That needs quite a low drop, so I can go about doing that now. But yeah, it's been really nice today. It's been good fun. Lots of people here, lots of action. Kind of, I think there were 8 lifts in total, and luckily no calamities. Managed to black the bottom of the boat. So yeah, it's all gone very well. I'll put up a full video later, or tomorrow, whenever I can, of the actual full crane day, because there's quite a lot of footage taken. So I'll kind of piece all that together and I'll make that. But yeah, it's so nice having the boat back here, like coming out like onto the stern deck, which does feel great. Had lots of people on it today. Everyone kind of just thinks it looks great. It feels really sturdy. But just come out here and see water. It's so nice. And no dogs. Can you hear it? No dogs. Bliss. This came for me today. Folding garden chair covers. Does that mean there's a folding garden chair coming? Some folding chairs would look quite good out here. But I think I'm going to make, well, thank you whoever sent that. If there's a chair to follow, that'd be ideal. So cheers for that. I'm definitely going to make a box seat there, which will house the fire extinguisher. So that'll be part of that step there. I don't know if I'm going to make a seat around here. I know it sounds a bit silly because you wouldn't really have it whilst navigating, but with the kids and stuff, that's kind of a little spot they could sit. Gas locker is obviously a seat. So yeah, it's been all right, but Sarky Bugger and I were up here earlier, and there's loads of room. It's really quite spacious, so happy days. I don't know really what the plans are for the rest of the week. I think I'm going back to London now. What's today? Today's Wednesday, so I'm back. I've got the kids this weekend, so I'll be in London for that. So I don't know, but might bring them up here. I'd like to take them out on the boat, just down to like the Welford Y or something like that, and have an overnighter and have a barbecue or something like that if the weather's all right. The kids would love that. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Until then, look after yourselves, take care, bye bye.